The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals. And Nancy Pelosi told me that. She said, please don't use the word animal, sir, when you're talking about these people. I said, I'll use the word animal because that's what they are. But they're not just illegal aliens. Honestly, they're monsters. These are savage monsters. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. We are being invaded, and we are being conquered, just like it was a military operation. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country very rapidly. On day one of my administration, I will terminate every open border policy of the Biden administration, and we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history because we have no choice. We have no choice.
While Trump supporters everywhere are scrambling to justify their vote to their left-leaning family members, friends, and colleagues, one aspect of Trump's politics they can't play dumb about or water down is his dehumanization of immigrants and migrants, a key component of both of his previous campaigns. Trump knows the appeals of racism and xenophobia are his bread and butter. And now that he and his inner circle are more organized, this plan may actually become a reality.
We will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
Trump made his pledge to implement a mass deportation way back in, April 2023. Before his presidential campaign really kicked it into high gear at the start of the 2024 election cycle.
Will you order mass deportations if you win the White House?
Oh, day one, we have no choice, and we'll start with the bad ones. And you know who knows who they are? Local police. Local police have to be given back their authority, and they have to be given back their respect and immunity. We're going to give them immunity.
Terrorists. I mean, you have terrorists pouring in at a level that we have not seen, maybe ever. And what they're doing to our country is incredible. They're poisoning our country, and we're going to close up our border, and we're going to deport the people. We're going to get them out because no country can sustain what we're going through right now.
As things stand right now, it looks like this devastating and inhumane plan is one step closer to becoming an actual reality, which brings us to this bigoted thumb.
They unsecure this border on purpose. What commander-in-chief does that to the nation?
Meet former acting ICE director and author of Trump's family separation scheme, Tom Homan, Trump's newly announced border czar, tasked with carrying out the mass deportation plan he's been promising.
It's a national security threat. It's a public safety threat. It's a public health threat. We got the first president in history of this nation that came into office within days, intentionally unsecured the most secure border we ever had, Dana. I mean, under President Trump, we had illegal immigration down 81%. Most secure border in my entire career, 35 years. Most secure border in my lifetime. And we have a president that came in within days, unsecured the border. And we got a Secretary of Homeland Security that's helping him do that. It's unbelievable what they have done. He intentionally unsecured the border. That is the most unpresidential thing I've ever heard. Him and the Secretary should both be impeached. It's by design. It's not incompetence. It's not mismanagement. This is what they want, and this is why they haven't done one thing. Not one thing to slow the flow.
Whenever Fox News needs someone to fearmonger and spread great replacement theory, they call him up to fan the flames of racism. And he's been doing it ever since the end of the first Trump administration.
They truly believe in their hearts. These are future Democratic voters. They don't even have to vote. All they got to do is be counted in the next census because President Biden also overturned Trump's census rule. So they think this is going to lead to perpetual power in Congress. It's going to lead to, them being in power in Congress for years to come. That's the only reason you'd want an unsecure border. It's disgusting what this administration's done on purpose, not mismanagement, not incompetence, on purpose they opened this border.
I think they consider these deaths collateral damage. Their higher goal is changing America and keeping that flow of cheap labor into the country.
You'll never hear Laura Ingraham, Tom Homan, or any other conservative admit that the cheap labor they're complaining about is a central, foundational aspect of our economy and capitalism as a whole. The same people and corporations who fund both parties financially benefit directly from the labor of undocumented immigrants and migrant workers, not only because they can pay them criminally low wages, but also because they don't provide any sort of benefits like health insurance, paid sick leave, workmen's compensation, or even safe working conditions, while the threat of arrest and deportation prevents these workers from unionizing and collectively bargaining for better conditions and benefits, securing the corporation's bottom line in the process.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing about the family separation. And no, I'm still being sued over that, so come get me. I don't give it, right? Bottom line is, we enforce the law. American families, when I was a cop in New York and I arrest a father for domestic violence or someone for DUI, I separate that family. When you violate the law with a child, you're going to be separated. But you're right. 250,000 children have crossed this border since Joe Biden's been president. They chose to separate themselves. And the children aren't always children.
Nothing says Republican politics more than blaming the victims of U.S. foreign policy, climate change, and their desperate circumstances for the crimes our state commits against them.
So the recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
This is exactly the type of outcome we should expect when the Republicans, and shamefully too many Dems, have treated immigrants and migrants as a national security threat and criminalized their entire existence, because it ultimately justifies the dehumanizing rhetoric and policies we've seen targeting them.
I got a message to the millions of illegal aliens that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now. You're damn right. Because you're going home. Well, first of all, let me talk about that multi-billion-dollar number they're putting on this. It's a lot cheaper than the billions of dollars we're spending now on housing, medical care, feeding, caring for millions of illegal aliens that this administration released in the United States. First of all, it will be a cost savings overall.
Just think about how depraved and craven you have to be to believe that providing food and shelter to people in need is a bad thing.
Some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way if we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send in New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you.
Just in case you aren't convinced that Tom Homan is a rabid white supremacist hell-bent on ruining millions of people's lives under the guise of law and order and public safety, you should know that he was slated to speak at Nick Fuentes' AFPAC conference in 2022, the same conference where the infamous video of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Fuentes shaking hands was recorded. Homan, the coward he is, blamed it all on a naming mix-up and not doing enough of his research into Fuentes or the American First Movement. He then told HuffPost reporter Christopher Mathias that he wasn't a racist and wasn't sure why Fuentes invited him to speak, but refused to definitively condemn the group, saying, quote, "I'm not saying this is a bad group, I'm saying I don't know. And that should tell you all you need to know about this man's real motivations are perpetuating white supremacy in the United States of America." Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.